The best way to learn anything is to dive right in. And that's how we'll start off with JavaScript as well. We'll look at one example which executes a really simple snippet of JavaScript code. It'll be very simple. You may not understand some of the constructs, but that's what this class is for anyway. What we're going to do is to embed this code within your HTML file. If you remember, you could embed CSS in your HTML file and then you could reference it off of a different file. Very similar things are true of JavaScript. Here is a regular HTML file. You've seen it several times and none of this should be a surprise to you. So it's a perfectly normal, simple HTML file, except for one thing which is a little bit new. What this file has, which we haven't seen before, is a new type of tag. This tag is called script. And notice that it's written just like any other tag, but we haven't seen this particular tag before. That's because we haven't written any JavaScript before this. This file has a pair of script tags, and inside script tags is where JavaScript goes when you want to write it and embed it within an HTML file. These script tags, the content part, is the JavaScript that we are interested in. If you notice this on screen, there is the JavaScript code embedded within the script tags. This is JavaScript. This is how it looks. It's a programming language. So what is this JavaScript code trying to do? The very first thing that we notice here is this, which says function print hello world. So we have a function defined in JavaScript, just like you can see on screen. This function prints out a hello world message to the world. Alert is one of the keywords that the browser supports, which basically just says hello world. So alert is a function which the browser supports, which displays something on screen. So we are printing out and displaying hello there on screen. Now notice the next line of JavaScript. This is a little more interesting and confusing. Don't worry, you can take it for granted right now. Window.onload is equal to print hello world. What does this do? This basically tells the browser that we want this print hello world function executed as soon as the page loads. You don't need to understand the details of this. We'll be covering it in copious detail later. But this onload on the window object basically says that when the browser loads the page and is done with it, we wanted to execute this print hello world function. This print hello world function is the same function we saw around a minute ago. Call the function print hello world when this web page has finished loading. This is what you're telling the browser with this statement. The print hello world that this is referring to is the one that we just defined about a minute ago. You can see it highlighted here on screen. This is what will be called after the page finishes loading. Now, if you hit this HTML page in your browser, that is when we open the HTML file in a browser, what does it look like? You'll see shortly. This is what you see when you open this particular HTML file in the browser. It's our first JavaScript example. All of that we wrote using HTML. And notice this pop-up which says, hello there. This is what the alert statement in JavaScript executed, and this is what it displays on screen. The pop-up with hello there in it. Now, there are many ways to include JavaScript code inside an HTML file. There are many ways to say that this JavaScript code is run along with this HTML file. All of those ways involve the script tag. What we saw right now in this example was embedding the JavaScript code within the script tag in the HTML file itself. We'll talk about this in more detail a little bit later. Now, if you saw the window on load and didn't really follow what that was all about, don't really worry too much about it. Just understand that it basically calls that function after the page has loaded. We'll be talking about this in detail again later on in this course.